Ladies and gentlemen, I am barely good at one thing, and my guest on the pod today, fan or fanatic, is great at two things: tennis and acting. Quite a combo. This man has been in the biz for over 45 years. A legit actor who also is a celebrity tennis coach. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fan or Fanatic, Christopher Crabb with two B's, because one wasn't enough. Hello, look at that head of hair. My God.
You've got me laughing already. Amazing.
Then my job is done. It is nice to meet you. So, for people who don't know who you are, you're this man who, as a young child
Yeah.
and a teenager, was a legit actor, like for real, for real. And when you had a few extra minutes, you were an amazing tennis player. You got injured and then you
Yeah.
leaned into acting. So take us back to, and you grew up in, was it Canada?
Yeah. It's funny. In Canada, of course, you start playing hockey. So I was actually playing hockey first. I started skating when I was 2.5 because I had a crazy father who used to build an ice rink in our backyard every winter. That's what hey man, Canada. He would be
Okay.
out there with the hose, hosing away.
Yeah.
And so I started skating very young, and kind of hockey was the first love. Um, I come from a family of actors. My mom was a Broadway dancer. She went to Juilliard. My
Wow.
dad was an opera singer. He went to Eastman School of Music. And I have two older brothers, and they all acted. So for me, it was kind of like, can I act too? You guys, everyone does it, so maybe I can do it. So I started going out for auditions probably when I was 7,
Okay.
something like that, and couldn't get anything. Couldn't get a thing. I went out for a year and a half, went to audition after audition, nothing ever.
How did that
My brother
feel
would,
to you then?
oh, it was horrible. It was
Okay.
horrible. And uh, my brother would, who also acted, would come along for the audition. He's 4 years older than me, and he'd get the part, and he wasn't even supposed to be there. And I'd be
Wow.
like, "This is crazy." So at the same time, I was playing 4 or 5 hours of tennis a day, starting around age 8.
Okay.
And so this was all happening, and I finally, an audition that I told my parents I wasn't going to go to because I'm sick of it. I went and I got it. It was a commercial, and right away, something I guess that changed my confidence. I don't know, but all of a sudden, I got a bunch of commercials, and more importantly, the next thing that I got, which was a little life changing,
A little bit.
was a little bit. I played Tiny Tim in a remake of A Christmas Carol with Henry Winkler, and
So let's put a pin on that for a second.
yeah,
As a girl
okay,
who grew up with a big crush on the Fonz,
on the
were
phone.
you aware of who Henry Winkler was?
He was the Fonz. Yeah,
Yeah.
it would happy to be my favorite show. I mean,
Wow.
this was epic for me. Epic. It could, if you'd said to me, who, as an actor, who would you want to work with? Probably the Fonz would have been like first thing out of my mouth. So it was. I mean, what can you say? I was 9, and I got this
Damn.
part.
And what was
And
he like? Because everything I've known and read and heard, he is the sweetest human on 2 feet.
yeah, it was. Well, he they did a 3-hour makeup job on him because he played the younger. He played all the different ages.
Right.
And my part with him, he was in his old makeup. He had this 3-hour makeup job, and I walked in, and it was like it was yesterday. There he is sitting in his chair, and I'm looking at him like, it's the Fonz old in makeup.
Was that
And I'm
weird?
like, no, I knew I already knew I knew that was coming,
Okay.
and it was so him. I was like, there he is, and it's amazing, when you meet someone that is a celebrity, and there they are in person. It's pretty wild, and he was the nicest. What an introduction to acting, and what a man to kind of be the first person I saw. Oh, so this is how you act on a set.
Wow. Did you
This
get
is
lucky?
this
Because
is
that's just luck.
it's super luck, and this is how a star behaves with generosity and thoughtfulness and giving, and so it was more than I could have ever imagined or hoped
Are
for.
you still in
Yeah,
touch with him?
I haven't spoken to him, and we spoke a
Let's
couple
get,
years
hey,
after.
producer PJ, can you get Henry Winkler on the
Yeah,
phone?
Let's get him on the horn.
Damn. I mean, I
Yeah,
think that's the pod. Next time we bring him on with you because
that'd be.
he doesn't know, Christopher, how he changed your life.
There's no way he could. Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
tag him.
And,
Um,
and I'm sure he's changed many people's lives. In
right.
fact, there was a story, and maybe it'll come to me that he had some words for an actor I recall on a set once. I remember hearing this story, and it really it's one of my students. I think Donald Faison,
Oh,
who's one of my students.
okay.
I think it
Tennis.
was Donald that
Tennis
told me.
guys.
Yeah, so we'll get to that. But
Yeah.
but so Donald, I believe Henry came up to him. They were doing something together, and he kind of gave him like, "You were late. You're a little." And Donald, if I'm getting this wrong, I apologize, but it meant a lot. If I have this right to Donald, it was like, "Oh, got it." And so I'm sure Mr. Winkler has changed many actors' lives.
But what
And
are the chances that you and someone that you're friendly with?
it's funny that I haven't. I knew that, and I had never kind of put it to until talking to you. So
So,
thanks.
so you do this movie, and do you
Yeah.
catch the bug?
Yeah. So from there things went well for me, and
And what does that
the
mean?
rest. Well, okay. So the rest of my family had done a lot of commercials. It was kind of a lot of that. And maybe it was just a different time in Canada where more stuff was coming in that were more movies and things like that. I think maybe I got lucky with that. And so I ended up doing a string of, different movies and guest spots on things. And I worked, a good amount, a lot as a kid.
What were your
And
brothers saying? Were they jealous?
I don't think so.
You do
Yeah.
the string of movies,
Um,
and where's
so yeah,
tennis,
no,
and
I
where's
think they were very.
school?
There's a famous tennis academy that's not. It's now called IMG, but it's a famous tennis
Where
academy
my
called Nick
daughter
Bollettieri's.
went.
I didn't know your daughter played tennis,
She did.
and she went to IMG.
She did. She did a summer and then a semester, and wow, just wow.
Talk about funny things in common. Oh my God.
Right, and I have the
Oh,
athleticism of a, let me think. Oh, I know, of an envelope that's wet. But she to so
she
wait,
got
she got it. So you were at IMG? What? Huh?
this. So IMG originally was Nick Bollettieri's tennis academy.
Right.
Started this goes back to the late '70s,
Okay.
and he became. Agassi went there.
Uh-huh.
Courier went there. Everyone at some point, everyone went through Nick, and he claimed everyone that ever went through there. Nick passed away a couple years ago. A crazy character, but as tennis goes, probably one of the biggest names of all time in tennis in terms of teachers. So
Okay.
my dad, being a very smart guy, had my brother also, middle brother, also trying to become a tennis pro, moved us down to Florida, and so for
Bradenton.
we went to Bradenton, where I actually own a house now. In I own a house there. Yeah,
Crazy.
um, yeah. So he moved us, and we went to Bollettieri's for a couple years. And so we were coming back and forth. We'd be in Florida for the winter for the school year, and then come back to Toronto for the summers, and I'd play all the tournaments there as my brother did. So really, as much as I'm acting, really I'm playing tennis all day, every day, and really that's like every interview I ever did, they always asked me, "Which are you going to do?" And I said, "Oh, I love acting, but I'm a tennis player. That's what I do." And so
What
because
does
you
that
can't,
mean, though? As a
well,
as,
I
as a
mean,
kid, then were you saying, "I love to act, but my identity, my future"? What did that mean?
yeah, you can do an acting gig, and then, especially as a kid, might not get another job for 4 months. You're on a tennis
Okay.
court 5 hours a day, every
Okay.
single day, and your life revolves around that. But at the same time, the acting was always happening. So it was kind of this. What can I say? I was very lucky. I was very lucky, and my parents, both being in the industry in their own ways, were very supportive, crazy supportive of both my brothers and myself. The acting thing changed when I got the TV series I did. When I was 14, I got a show called Danger Bay, which was Disney Channel's #1 show for the 6 years that we did it. And it was a co-production with CBC, which is the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. And it was in 72 countries. And it's always
Damn.
funny when you hear yourself dubbed in like different language and stuff. And especially like the first seasons when I heard them dubbed, I was like, is my voice that high? This guy sounds like a little, but it was. I was started when I was 14. I was just a little, my voice hadn't changed yet. So I did that series for 6 years, and that changed things. Of now, the tennis became well, what do I do? I'm shooting 6 months a year. I need to be playing tennis. And so do I quit the series and just do tennis? And I thought, no, that's crazy. I mean, getting a TV series like this is once in a lifetime. I won't act in the 6 months that I'm not shooting. I won't. I told my agents I won't go on any auditions. I will only do my tennis. So I would try to recover as much as I could in 6 months, and this went on for years.
How many years?
Uh,
I guess the whole
so
time the series was on, right?
not quite. So the accident happened in the off season when I was 18, and I did another 2 seasons after that. So fortunate, it's one thing to be a tennis player, and that goes bye, and you're starting afresh. How much could I complain? I was in the middle of doing
Well,
a
wait,
TV.
wait. For those who don't know why you stopped tennis, this horrible
Mm,
accident, in
yeah,
your head, you were like, I got it all. I'm taking off time to do the series. I'm playing
yeah,
tennis. And then tell us about
yeah.
the accident.
So it was not like some huge accident. My brother and I, also the other tennis pro, we were training in San Diego because he was playing at San Diego State. Like coming up from Chinese food, early dinner, and some guy hit us from behind. But it got both of us. Our necks were just never the same. My back, my neck, and the other thing is I had injured my neck previously many
Oh.
times through. With tennis, you're always injured. But my neck was something that was a little bit of like, I've heard it before, and my upper back, and I could never get back. I'd train, and as soon as I'd start serving hard for extended times, it would hurt, and I'd get headaches, and it was just tough.
Mentally,
Yeah.
where were you with that?
Again, you just can't complain when I'm about to fly back to Vancouver. I
Okay.
mean, it's crazy. I started the series when I was 14, and so the first 2 seasons, my mom, me being from Toronto, went with me, and so the first 2 seasons I lived with my mom, but in the third season when I was 16, I went on my own, and I was living on my own since I was 16, and
Wow.
I was living I was living in a 3 bedroom condo on the water, and taking care of myself, and I think also tennis once again stepped in. The discipline I had from being a tennis player, getting to bed on time, getting up, doing all the training, all that stuff. I was I took good care of myself at 16. I wasn't some crazy running around doing crazy things. I'd get in bed because I had to get up and shoot. And so going back to that, what does one do other than be like, wow, I'm so
I mean, it
lucky
would have been
that I'm
normal if you were a little upset.
listen. I'm not saying I it was like I've spent all this time and effort on tennis, but again, I
Were you relieved a little? Like, I can really do the
oh, what a
acting?
great question. What a
Thank you.
great question.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
But there's always a doubt tennis wise. You're not quite sure where you're going to end up, and so in a way, certainly decisions were made for me
Hmm.
to that. So what you say is very astute. There's some stuff in there for sure. Yeah.
What happens next in your acting career?
So the series ends, and I had between seasons. Once the accident happened, I had met some managers out here in LA, and they're like, "Why are you playing tennis? You should be out here and blah blah blah." And then the accident, I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna come," and then moved back to LA permanently when I was 20.
Okay.
And again, I've been so lucky with combinations of these two things. I knew right away, don't be one of these kid actors that spends all their money and buys cars and does stupid
I
things.
think it's
I right
Henry Winkler that gave you the beginnings
right
of this. Yeah.
again, and yeah, another thing on top of that is doing a TV show in Canada is not the same as doing a TV show in the United States.
Why?
There's not a huge star system there. It's not like I
Oh,
wasn't Kirk Cameron, I wasn't Michael J. Fox like that. You know what I mean? It was a
yeah.
very popular show, but the crew doesn't treat you like, oh wow. It's not. Canada's a little more chill in
Keeping it
that
real.
way. Yeah, keep it real. So I didn't have a weirdness of that. And once again, literally the day the show didn't get picked up, I went, okay, I'm going to start teaching tennis.
You
Well, I
always
wasn't going
had
to sit.
that.
Well, I'm 20 years old. I have this. skill of tennis that, and I wasn't going to go become a bartender when I was a tennis pro. And I thought, great, let's start.
And
And
was
so I
your
started.
intention to teach celebrities?
No, that I never even thought about that, even though it happened right away.
Right.
Uh, and once again, the combination, it's been a big combination through my life, how the tennis and the acting have merged. So, no, I started teaching, and I plunged right into it. And it's funny when people ask me about my teaching, I had no lessons or 10 lessons, and I'm 20 years old, and I thought I'm going to hustle. And I went to a tennis tournament where juniors were playing, and I started just talking with parents. And I said, "Oh, I'm a
Wow.
tennis pro. I'm here. I'm looking to find some good kids to teach." And literally, one mom said to me, "I'd love you to come teach my girl." And she said, "But I live in Orange County, which is an hour and 45 minutes away." And I'm like, "That's okay. I'll be there." And back then, I think I charged $40,
Huh.
and I drove an hour and 40 minutes to do this one lesson because I thought you need to start lessons. Within 3 weeks, I had 20 kids from that area, and I had my brother and I were going out and teaching a whole this 20 kids of clinics. And so, it's like anything in this world. You hustle, man. And so I hustled. And the next thing I know, again how stuff happens, I get a call from CAA, and CAA, for those who don't know, is the biggest agency in the world. And they said,
Talent agency.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. Is going to be playing Charlie Chaplin, and we would like you to teach him.
Wow.
And they said, well, we know that you're an actor and know sets and know acting, and we know that we're a tennis pro, and so we thought you'd be the perfect person. And so next thing I know, I'm teaching Robert Downey Jr. We're becoming good buddies,
I
and
love him.
he's I can't tell
Yeah,
you.
you can. Go ahead.
He, I think LA in general gets a bad rap.
No, no.
People,
Hang on, Christopher. It's
yeah,
my happy place. I'm there all the time. My daughter
yeah,
lives there, and I want to end up there. So, period.
yeah, yeah. It's everyone I just got chills. I teach so many amazing people. So Robert, he's so genuine. He's so funny, and I started teaching him. And once again, I'll tell the story. I hope it's not boring, but
No.
I needed a place to teach him specifically, and he's in Beverly Hills area. And I thought, okay, I had a house that one of my agents was letting me teach at in Beverly Hills, and then I couldn't teach there anymore. And I thought
Okay.
I need a house in Beverly Hills to teach. So I got him to sign a letter of recommendation of some of my other students that I now had, and I drove around Beverly Hills and looked at every house that had a tennis court. I typed up this thing with my resume of tennis and acting and these recommendation letters, and I put them in every mailbox of every house in Beverly Hills that had a tennis court.
Damn.
About a week goes by.
Love the
Guess how
hustle.
many? Guess how many people reached out to me?
26.
One.
Ah! Glad I didn't bet
And
on
next
that.
thing I know, I met with the lady, and she said, "I have two kids." It was just a family that
Okay.
lived there. And so now I'm teaching again in Beverly Hills, and that's where I'm teaching Robert. And Robert and I are, meeting at this house every day, working on his game. And so I started him with an easy racket, and I started him right-handed, but Chaplin's left-handed. So
Oh.
eventually, then once he got that, then we switched Robert to left-handed and to a wood racket, and it was amazing. And then the next thing is Kevin Kline got the part of Douglas Fairbanks Jr. So now Kevin Kline's coming, who's like one of my favorite actors of all time.
Of all time.
And I'll give you a quick funny story, what I think's funny story of him. So I'm 22. Robert's what? I don't know, 27 or something like that. And Kevin's a little,
Older.
older than us.
Yeah.
And he's just established movie star for a long time. And he, unlike Robert, had played some tennis.
Okay.
And so I kind of went to give him something to do, and he didn't want to hear it. And I'm astute enough at 22 years old to go, leave him alone. Teach Robert, be great with him, have them do stuff, not a problem. And so that was how it was the time that Kevin came. He came maybe 15 times. And then we're shooting the day they're shooting the tennis sequence in Bel Air, and they're coordinating it, and Sir Richard Attenborough's directing. And
Damn.
he's asking me about how to do the tennis thing with this and that. And I'm like telling him, well, this should go here and this should be that. They shoot the master shot, and I walk over. It's funny to me, at least. I walk over to Robert to give him some stuff. I want him to do a little differently. Now, Kevin wanted nothing to ever do with me about tennis until right that moment when he came running up to me and goes, "How did I look? Any suggestions for me?" And I was like, an actor on set. Now we need a little love from everybody. So it was very sweet, I thought of him, and very funny. And
It
Phoebe
is
Cates was
funny.
there.
It is funny.
Yeah,
Were you, because you were also an actor, like,
yeah.
why can't I be in the movie and play a part?
It's so funny you say that. So for so many years, I taught so many people in the business and never, ever asked anyone to do me any sort of favor.
Hmm.
Hey, could you think about me for this? And at some point, as I got a little older, I went, man, what are you doing?
No.
Ask everybody.
Oh.
Let them say no. I
I
don't
mean,
care. I don't
you're putting or flyers in mailboxes.
right. But
Hustle.
I was trying to be professional. I thought, oh, don't cross that
Oh,
line
okay.
is what it
Yeah,
was,
F
right?
that.
And then I was like, so I'm always out to this day. I'm respectful, obviously, but I'm always happy to say, hey, I'm around.
I mean, I
You
would
know,
have loved to have seen you in Chaplin.
that would have been
Yeah.
fun.
What
What a movie and what a cast. He got nominated for
phenomenal.
that.
Now, are you still in touch with Robert Downey?
We talk every blue moon.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, he said something interesting to me during that. Two funny things to me, at least. One was he said, "You know what I'm most nervous about in this whole movie?" I went, "What?" He said, "The tennis." I went, "What?" I said, "You're
Well,
playing
because he
Charlie
can
Chaplin. You're doing
act,
an English
right?
accent. You're doing." He said, "Yeah, but Chaplin is on record as saying tennis is my religion, and I need to embody that." And I went, "Ooh,
Damn,
okay,
that's a tall order.
right." And the
Yeah.
other thing that I always thought was really cool with Robert is I had a callback for General Hospital, and I said to Robert, we finished the lesson. I said, "Would you help me with this?" And he went, "Of course." So he reads this. I think this so him. He reads it with me, and before we do anything, he walks up to me and gets too close to me. Robert does, and he goes, "Do you know who I think this guy is? He's the kind of guy that gets too close to you when he talks and makes you feel really uncomfortable, like you need space from him."
Was he right?
And I went, I would have never thought of that. I'm just like trying to and that's how Robert saw it.
Did you get the part?
I did not. I know, but there's certain actors, Johnny Depp, Robert, that they see it in a different way.
Yeah.
They take on parts that you'd kind of go, oh wow, look what
They're
they did
gifted.
with
They're
that.
just
It's
gifted.
it's amazing. Yeah, that always stuck to me.
So, in those years, you're teaching the celebrities, you're also acting.
Yeah.
And is it 50-50?
No, I wish.
Okay.
It's always more
Mainly
tennis.
tennis, right?
It's always more
Thank
tennis. Yeah,
God you
yeah.
have that, right?
Well, and again, here I'd love to be acting. I would have loved to do another. I turned down a series that I regret turning down, and
Whoa,
I
whoa, 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 whoa. You're not getting away without saying what that
okay.
series was.
So it was they did a Tarzan series that shot in Mexico,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
I
you give me
Danger
Tarzan
Bay.
vibes a little.
Yeah, well the Danger Bay was fairly recent,
Okay.
and so my agent said to me at the time, they said, going and doing this is probably not the best thing if you're trying to
Yeah.
really do it here and become. And I now looking back regret. I wish I had gone and done it, but so because that would have been. I think that ran for a bunch of years, so that would have been really fun to have done something that over and over again because I love acting. I love being on a set every day.
Well,
But so
you are now. You started a series in October, right? Tell us about this show. It's on
so
CBS, right?
it's CBS, and I joke with Jeff Probst, one of my students, that now I'm part of the CBS family
You really
because of
are.
course, yeah, right. So uh, it was very it was there was a show called Fire Country,
Uh huh.
which shoots in Vancouver, and Sheriff Country shoots in Toronto because Marina has a family in New York, and they wanted her to be closer so she could get back and forth because she's of course in every scene of every
And Sheriff County,
episode.
is it called Sheriff County?
Sheriff Country.
Sheriff Country
Fire Country, Sheriff Country.
is
Yeah.
the series that you are
And
in. Okay.
it's a spin-off, yes, and that's a
Okay.
spin-off. It's a spin-off. And so
Okay.
she did a couple episodes and they spun her character off into her show, Sheriff
Okay.
Country.
How
And
fun
so
was that?
very first scene of the whole show, and it was a whole cool entrance into the show. And
Wow.
um, it's funny because normally when you do a guest spot on a show that's been running for some time, you're always like kind of a fish out of water. You don't know anyone, and everyone's so close, and you're kind of like hi. But this was like
Brand
their
new.
second day of shooting,
Yeah.
so it was. I was there as it was kind of getting to know each other, and she was amazing, and her acting's fantastic. We did a read through on Zoom, and she's just I was just watching her do it, do her stuff thing, and I was like, man, you were good, and that's why she works so
It
much.
is.
She's just really good and beautiful and very funny and very sweet.
Well, I hope that it gets picked up and keeps going, right? And looking at your roster of celebrity clients, because I don't care about any clients that aren't celebrities. You understand?
Right?
Don't bore me with that BS.
Me neither. Who needs the others?
A woman who only wants to
Can't
be
remember their
famous,
names.
I
Come on.
just want to know who are some of your favorites, Christopher? And who are there any you wouldn't be teaching them anymore that you're like, oh,
Yeah, no, they're so. Let me start with Pete Wentz
oh,
from Fall Out Boy.
yeah,
He's I'm very honest with all my students, and literally that's kind of part of what I do, and it's part of why it, I'm good with celebrities in that I don't kiss anybody's ass, right? I'll say to Jeff Probst, I'll go, "You're not the producer of this, man. Like this is what you need to do. Let's go. I need you to do this and that." And people like that. They don't
yeah.
they don't want to be coddled, and they want the truth. There's
They
a
want to
kind
get
of an
better.
old yeah, there's kind of an old tennis joke that you can take a lesson at a country club, and they'll tell you how wonderful you are, or you can take a real lesson and they'll tell you what's right, what's real, what's really happening. And I definitely teach that way. And so,
Christopher, when I was in college, I'm
yeah,
almost 60, and back in the day, you had to take PE. And like I said, I'm not athletic. So the
right,
class I took was tennis. And
yep.
about, I don't know, a month or so into it, the teacher, coach, whatever the hell, takes me aside and she says, I'm going to say this to you because you're funny. You're not going to get offended. I have never had a student who's gotten worse every single week. And what I'm going to do for you, Lori, is just pass you and you don't have to come back. That's honesty.
I love that.
And then I end up having a daughter who loves tennis. So,
So I started by teaching Pete's son Bronx many years ago.
okay,
Bronx was probably 7 at the time.
right.
And Pete would come for the lessons and hang out, and he'd be like in his jeans and his rocker,
Yeah, yeah.
but I knew he played, and I'd like, hey, well, come hit a few balls. I'll feed you too. And he'd hit some balls, and he told me, oh, yeah, he played as a kid. He not a lot, but he played some. He played. His family all played, and uh, months go by, and I'm having him play a little bit more, and I'll say, hey, my another student's coming after. Hit a few with this student, and one day I look at him and I go, is it that you can't afford tennis lessons, Pete? Is that why you're not taking lessons yourself? And so he's like, yeah, we should do it. We should do it. And so it's kind of started with that. And he started to improve. And then he went on tour and came back and started to improve more. And then I guess it was probably really around COVID that he decided that tennis is his probably number one passion in his life, regarding with the exception of his kids and his wife and all. But he's here almost 5 days a week. I teach in my house,
Damn.
and he's here for hours at a time. And he and I are become very close. Obviously, we spend so much time together. And he's my favorite guy student I've ever taught. But here's the funny thing: he's the smartest student I've ever taught. I have two students, one female, one male. It just all makes sense to them.
Right.
And there's a language of tennis. If as your daughter knows, I mean, if you're two talking tennis players are talking, you might not know what the hell they're talking about if they're talking about, right. Well, he had a cross court thing, and that was that, and his mental game is so and so, and right, what the. So Pete played soccer, very good soccer player. So sports transfer over. So he already had a lot of knowledge of sports, and he now has gotten very, very good. And he and I have done some really fun things together. They invited us to the San Diego Open, which is a pro tournament that got a call. The chairman of the U.S. Open, he ran the U.S. Open, and he said, I live in Asheville, and I'm putting together an exhibition to raise money for Hurricane Helene. We're trying to raise $1 million. He said, I already have Andre Agassi, and I have Andy Roddick, and I have
Damn.
Paglia and Navarro. And he said, can you bring some of your celebrity students? And I'm like, let me get on it. And so I ended up bringing Pete again, Jeff Probst, and Isai Morales. And so we all went down and raised $1 million, and they televised it. And
Wow.
and we all did this thing in Agassi, and it was amazing.
That
So
is
again,
amazing.
the acting and the tennis, it just keeps kind of happening. And so Pete and I, getting back to Pete, Pete's my
He's your guy.
very fave. Probst, I love Probst so much. He's such a generous guy. He's a
Wow.
sweetheart.
Tell
He's
me about
yeah.
Steve Carell, because I love Steve Carell.
So
Don't tell me that he's not anything but great and funny.
Steve's great.
Ah,
Here's what's great about Steve. That
everything.
people probably wouldn't know. He's quiet.
Yeah, no, I can see that. A lot of funny people
Absolutely.
get a little like, I'm not on, you're not on. We don't always have to be on.
Right? And you never know who's who. Like Donald Faison, who is one of my favorite characters. Oh my God.
Always on.
He's singing and
Yeah.
always. And he's the most charismatic guy you'll ever meet. And again, a sweetheart. And he and Zach Braff together, because I teach them both, are like,
Wow.
they're, made there. They do the commercials together. Now they're redoing Scrubs. They're bringing it back. So,
I didn't know that.
yeah. So,
What about George
and Joe-
Clooney? What's he like?
George was a long time
'Cause
ago.
he seems funny.
Just a very nice, sweet, funny guy. He used to do My Brothers in My Clinic a long time
That's
ago.
a long
I taught
time,
him-
yeah.
Yeah. And he's, he's as handsome as you could be and as sweet as could be, and he's just great and a good tennis player. He'd played a lot. I started teaching a little bit at Rosemary Clooney's house
Wow.
because I was teaching that group of people.
That's his
Yeah.
aunt for everybody.
Yes, yeah. And the court was not in the best of shape, but it was,
Neither was she.
yeah.
Christopher, have you written or are you going to write a book? Because like that, that's like a no-brainer.
You're so sweet. People ask me that sometimes, and maybe I will.
Oh my God, you can get Chat GBT to do it. You can do it by the end of this night. Right? I mean, there's no one, Christopher, in the entire universe with your story. It's
Oh my God,
fascinating.
you're so sweet.
Yeah,
It's so nice
I
to
kind
say.
of love it. And then, I don't know, maybe George Clooney plays you in the movie that they make from it.
That's great. One thing that I am doing, and again going back to Pete and I, he's executive producing a show that he'll be in, but really he wants it mainly my thing, kind of about what we're talking about all my students that I work with, and a little maybe like I forget what it's called, conversations with in the car with
Yeah, like
with,
coffee car, like the Seinfeld
yeah,
guy. Yeah.
yeah. So Pete and I have a lot of footage of us doing these tennis things together. We have footage of me being at his concert, and the night before we went to play one of these things, we were backstage hitting balls with each other.
Wow.
So we're kind of thinking this show could be kind of seeing behind the scenes of these people that I teach and what tennis means to them, and how I've kind of helped them in whatever way that I've helped them tennis wise. And so we're putting that together, which hopefully would be great. And Pete will executive produce it, and yeah.
I like that more than the book. Forget the
Yes.
book. Scratch the book.
Book is out.
Yeah, book is that.
Wow.
This is
That's
a
impressive.
no-brainer, Christopher. This is seeing celebrities behind the scenes doing something we don't. This is a no-brainer.
It makes sense to Pete and I.
It does. You're
Yeah.
you're delightful. I mean, what's next for you besides this amazing reality show that you're going to shoot?
One never knows what's right around the corner. The series that I did, Danger Bay, there was talks at one point of rebooting it, and
Okay.
that's something that's always been in my mind. If I could somehow maybe produce something along those lines, and I don't know, but that's something that always kind of is in there for me. And as it is, I just did a couple things that are coming out soon. I just did there's what are called verticals now,
Yeah.
and I didn't know much about them. They're becoming very popular, and I've done now a few of them. I just did one, which was cool, and I did this
Explain
one.
to our viewers.
So they shoot these movies now on good cameras and real crews, but they shoot them vertically, so you can watch them on your cell phone
TikTok.
vertically. Yeah, and so you're watching, and they're kind of like in 2 minute, so you can watch one scene, or you could watch the whole movie all the way through. And it's so interesting. Talking about Pete, he said my kids don't watch TV anymore.
No.
They don't. They didn't watch TV. So these verticals are kind of interesting. So I just did one. I played the owner manager of a strip club, and I played this very sleazy. She's in high school, but she's also a stripper by night, and she's trying to pay for her mom's. She's got a heart of gold kind of fun thing, and she
Yeah.
falls in love with it. And I played her boss, and it was a very good experience. I really enjoyed it. It was very fun.
Where can
And it
we
was a
see
very
this?
cool part. It's called The Cheerleader Scandal.
It's a
Let me
little.
see.
It sounds a little bit like a porn. Just saying, Christopher.
Kind of fun.
I mean, I'm just saying. You see the vertical.
I think you can get it on Google.
Oh, we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with So this has been one of my favorite interviews. I mean, let me tell you something. I
Oh
don't
my God.
care about tennis. I don't give a damn. But I love the
Me neither.
celebrities, and you are just a breath of fresh air. It's inspiring. Your story. I really feel like this was great. What do you think? What did you think about it, Christopher?
Well, first of all,
Oh, no.
I've done a few interviews in my life.
Mm, yep.
Going back to being quite young,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes you just kind of go click, and certain
Yeah.
people they're like so inviting that you make one feel very comfortable. And so I thank you very, very
Oh.
much. It's been absolutely my pleasure.
Christopher,
Absolutely.
every time I end my podcast, I ask the guest a very important, deep question. I want
Okay.
your first reaction. There's no right or wrong. Christopher Crabb, am I a healthy fan of you, or am I batshit fanatic crazy?
Well, let me.
All right, take a minute. Take a minute.
No, I already got it. I got it.
Okay.
There- There's no way that I'd be honored if you just thought even a slightly fan of me. If you went, I'm a little bit of a fan, I would take that 100%. So I'm going to go, I'm hoping that you're a little bit of a fan.
I'm a fan that I think when we're in person will turn batshit crazy fanatic. Ladies and gentlemen, Christopher Crabb, 2 B's, not just one. I mean, do you ever think about maybe dropping the second B? We get it. It's Crabb. Oh, you don't want it to probably be associated with the word Crabb. Oh, put another B on it. Love ya. This was fun. This
So
was
fun.
great. This was great. And I'm going to be in LA in a few weeks.
Awesome.
We'll go to dinner. Steve Carell, Jeff Preps. It's fine. George Clooney.
I'll bring them all.
It'll be cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I love your story.